Discovering possibilities and potential with passion every day. This is a TPPN production.
Welcome to the iPad Possibilities Podcast, episode number 87, Facebook. Well, this is Tim here, and I welcome you to another episode of the iPad Possibilities Podcast, kind of talking about all of the different possibilities and ways people are using their iPads. And exciting show for today, I think, and should be informative at least for those that are wanting to use Facebook on their iPads. What is the best way to do that? Is the just built-in web browser better than apps? How do you do that? So that's what today's show is all about. But before we get into that, let me first let everyone know that I announced a couple days ago that the Elgato folks have sent me an iTV HD. And I did receive it today, and I'm very thankful about that. And just initial impressions is fantastic. It's been so cool today because I've been able to, within 10 minutes of setup here, have streaming live television to my iPad anywhere in the world over 3G, my home network, anywhere. It took literally, 10 minutes to set this box up and get it all up and running, and it's pretty phenomenal. You just have a cable box and this iTV HD, and, within 10 minutes, I was all set up streaming live television to my iPad. So literally, my iPad has now become a television set. It's quite phenomenal. So I'll have a full show on this next week is my plan. Next week I'll do a full out show on why this is pretty cool and how it all works and some of their other products that make it all work together seamlessly. So that's kind of a preview of next week, but very impressed so far. And with that, let's just get on to the show for today, and that is Facebook. And this has been a show that there wasn't really any reason to do it before, because before with Facebook all you did was launch up Safari and launch up Facebook.com, because that was the best way to do it up until a few weeks ago when a couple of different apps started to appear in the App Store, and these were apps that made it really easy and really simple to access Facebook on your iPad. And I'm going to talk about 3 different ways to access Facebook on your iPad today. The first is Friendly, the second is Social, and the third one is Safari. So those are the application names that I'm going to be talking about today. And with that said, let's just get on to the first app, and that is Friendly. And this was the application that was initially $5. I believe it's cut down the cost to, I think, $3 or $4. It may be $1 now. I forget exactly, but they've come down in price as competition is good, as we talked about last week. And as I launch up this first app now, you'll be set with a very traditional mobile login screen there, for your password and all that kind of stuff there. And then what you get here is a very well-designed, very well-thought-out layout of this application here. So on the very top title, you have Home, Profile, Friends, and Inbox. And you're able to search through your timelines. You're able to with a quick flip, go from live feed to what they call, let me see if I can switch that over here, to news feed. So pretty cool. And the next one here is Events, and then you have Places. As Facebook has integrated Places, this application also integrates Places. So as I launch up Places, it'll just say where people are at. There is no map or anything like that. But kind of cool, and it's a very wonderful way to access your Facebook information here on your iPad. And so you got a notification pop up as well, and you have this little what is known as the export little button there to open up in different things. And with that, you have the ability to log out of Facebook, to share Friendly, and to give feedback or help. Now with pictures, when you launch up Photos with Friendly, the big plus here is their picture support, how they have done their pictures and all of those kinds of things. Because currently in the Safari web browser and in Social, the pictures are kind of not really thought of as something special. And Friendly, it's a whole different story here, because Friendly takes a whole different approach. With Friendly, it has its own user interface, own gallery mode for pictures. It realizes, hey, this is a picture, I'm going to treat it like that. So with Friendly, it blows up the entire screen to fill it up with the picture. In some cases, this is great. In some cases, this kind of fails because it can kind of get distorted pictures and kind of do bad guesswork of how things should be done like this. So overall, very amazing integration with pictures and photos. And you're able to add comments to these. You're able to simply click arrows to go left or right. You're able to simply click on this little grid type thing to go back to the full photo here of the photo gallery to show you what's available. And just a very well done integration with photos. That's something that just blew me, just very impressed here. You also have this play mode where it's just play and just goes through the slideshow of all the photos there. And that's just a phenomenal thing that that this application does that actually none of the other ones do. And even a bigger problem than that with the Safari web browser, as I'll talk about a little bit later here, is it's terrible with photos. It just is not good at all. If you're using the mobile version, or even the Safari web version, it simply does not keep up as far as loading up the little thumbnails of the photos within Safari. So you're left guessing what photos you want to view in full. So Safari on the web browser or whatever on the iPad is really insufficient as far as utilizing it for photos. So that's kind of a bad thing about it. But as far as Safari, but with Friendly, they've really considered photos as a big feature that needs to be incorporated. So that's the big selling feature I can say about Friendly. Other than that, it's a great way to access your Facebook profile and all of your friends' information. And I just wanted to, before we get on to social, that other application that was released a little bit later than Friendly is the reason why, besides having a great user interface, besides the extra features of having, Facebook in an application, why else would you want this? Well, I can think of one amazing reason, one great reason you would want this. And I talked about this on a live show a few weeks ago, and that is, I don't want to have to constantly log in, log out of Safari on my iPad with Facebook. Because, when I hand people my iPad, they probably will visit Facebook. That's a very commonly visited site. And I don't want my Facebook, profile just opened up to everybody that I hand my iPad to. I want them to log into their Facebook profile and to view their content. I don't want, people to just log into my Facebook and just start viewing all my private information that may be in there or may not be in there. So that's something that I think is very important to have Facebook as an app. I think that distinction is very important to have because I want to be logged in all the time, but I don't want that to be logged in on my iPad. So that's a kind of interesting distinction that should be made when considering why you would want an application for your iPad to access Facebook. So let's move on then to social, and that's the second application designed for the iPad to access Facebook. And it's a very different interface as far as accessing Facebook here. So it's got a more traditional, I would say, iTunes application feel as far as if you've ever launched up iTunes on your iPad, the iTunes Music Store or Video Store on your iPad. It's got that very similar feel where at the very bottom, you've got different tabs you can select. So Newsfeed, Favorites, Profile, Friends, Notifications, Requests, Messages, and more. And in that More tab, you have access to groups, pages, events, photos, chat, links, notes, and search. And just like in the iTunes thing, you can drag and drop what different items you want to be in that bottom tab, your quick access things. So I think this interface really does work well, and I kind of prefer it to the Friendly interface. It feels more at home, I guess. and gives you access to more information and gives you a more customized interface. And another cool thing that this application has done is it has deficiencies. All applications do. And this app gives you the option to, anywhere you're at within this app. So say you're viewing a photo and you want to view that photo in Safari. It allows you to simply do that little export button that's in Friendly, but this one allows you to open page in Safari. And that's phenomenal because it does lack in certain areas. And both of these really lack in certain areas. And that's even with the great integration with photos in Friendly, for whatever reason, both of the applications deny you the access to pinch to zoom. So there's no way to actually zoom in more than full screen on the iPad in any of these applications. So you can't pinch in to just view a particular part of a photo. Say you're looking at a mountain valley and you want to zoom in on a particular part, or you want to zoom in on, the sky or something else, zoom in on some photograph. You can't do that within these applications. It just doesn't accept that kind of input. So with this open page in Safari, that's a great workaround this application has managed to do to access your photos in that pinch to zoom manner. So that's a very cool feature that this application decided to, have included. So within this application, you also have access to your account settings. You have access to, privacy settings, and those are things that aren't included in the Friendly app. So this is a much more, full-featured app as far as you're able to access more of the Facebook, website through this application. So that's a kind of cool thing. And with favorites, basically you're able to have favorites. I don't have any on my Facebook profile or whatever because I don't use it as often or whatever. So now I'm launching up, profile, and it, looks very much like the Facebook interface. It is customized, to make it look good on the iPad. So that's a very nice thing. And with the friends, it works great, in the Friends tab. One thing Friendly does a lot better here is they have a phone book tab within your friends information, within your friend tab. So with the friend tab, you have a phone book, so you can actually use your, iPad as then your contact list, your phone book, all that kind of stuff within Facebook. Within this one, it denies that. You're able to simply select first name or last name as far as ordering, and that's kind of let down there as far as features. So that's one thing to note. And then you also have notifications. You have request tab and messages, and composing emails and things like that within Facebook are social for Facebook are quite nice. So it's really, as I've been playing with these, it's really kind of up to you as far as what you're more looking for. I could see someone that really likes the way Friendly does photos as the one selling feature of Friendly, and someone that wants that phone book as the one selling feature of Friendly. But someone that wants a more customized interface, maybe, take into social as the way to go for their application. So it really depends entirely upon what you want as far as an application. So my advice here as far as picking up an application for Facebook, it would be simply, taking my thoughts here, what is it that you want more, but also, take a look at the screenshots that you see on the web pages or whatever for these applications, and make your decisions from those screenshots. I would personally recommend, I'm probably going to see myself using Friendly more than social in the long run, and that'll probably be the way I go. But social is a very nice app, and I'd be fine using either on a daily basis. So they're very close in competition, which is kind of good. So I'm kind of curious, what will these applications do in the future to make the competition greater, to make it a bigger selling for either one of these. So those are the different apps available right now for Facebook on the iPad. And full disclosure, as I always like to do, is I did actually pay for both of these applications. I did not request the developers for any kind of promo codes, but rather I paid for both of them. They're a couple bucks, and I figured let me just pay for these and do a show about these because I think it'd be a great thing to do a show about. So let's move on then from the applications to Facebook on the iPad through Safari, right? We're not doing the other manner of just using apps, but what do you get when you actually access it on Safari? And many people have probably done this. And what you get is it's not the mobile version. It feels like it is the true full version of Facebook, and it plays very nicely on the iPad. But as I mentioned earlier, the one deficiency here is the photos access. The one letdown here was, say you want to launch up a album, and the way it's now doing it is with these thumbnails, and as you scroll down, you will quickly notice how they are gray. And you have to sit on a page for about 2 minutes. It feels like at least 2 or 3 minutes before the rest of the photos load up, and they may not load up. There's no indication as to how quickly they load up or if they're loading up at all. And I would say in some cases they're not going to load up at all. And that's kind of a big design problem with this new Facebook website here. So Facebook on the web, on Safari, is a great thing, but the photos is a real letdown. It's a weird scenario we are in with Facebook photos, or whatever, because I think it's better on the Safari as you're able to zoom in and things, but you're not able to view all the photos. So you may be going in social and just doing the open in Safari mode. But Friendly does this wonderful full screen mode where it gets rid of the title bars and all the junk up at top, so you have more of the photo on the screen. So it's an interesting scenario where we are with photos. So that's kind of the state of Facebook with photos and different things like that. And the Facebook stuff, it works well on this just through Safari. But as I mentioned, I want to not be logged into Facebook on Safari because I do hand my iPad to other people for them to play with. And another interesting thing about Facebook on Safari is I don't believe location is something that is accessible through Safari. So that's the one thing social has going for it as well. So it's kind of a mixed bag right now where you want to use Facebook, what app's best for you. It's really entirely up to how you use Facebook. Are you a big photo user? How do you use photos and different things like that? Do you use location and those different things? So all those questions you need to answer for yourself. If you use location, go with social. If you use photos, take your pick. I think Friendly would be the best option if you're a heavy photo user, So, that's kind of the Facebook roundup on the iPad so far. Facebook does not have an official application. They just, say go to the Safari on the web browser there. So that's the Facebook roundup. And as always, I would really love some feedback on this. Have you found different ways to use Facebook on your iPad? What are you doing? Right? So call in to 209-542-iPad for your thoughts, and I'd love to hear them. And you can also email me at iPadpossibilities@gmail.com. If you'd like to get more content, get the content early, you can do that by becoming a premium member of the iPad Possibilities podcast by going to iPadpossibilities.com or tppn.tv and becoming a premium member today. It's only a couple bucks a month, and that's a great way to support this show, to get extra content and a bunch of other great things. So go to tppn.tv or iPadpossibilities.com for more information on that. And until the Friday-Saturday show, this is Tim Chatton of the iPad Possibilities podcast.